It's November and your phone lights up with a name you haven't seen in months. Hey, it's been a while, we should hang out soon. For a moment it feels surprisingly good. You assume life simply got in the way and things are finally settling down again. It feels like a friendship picking up where it left off. But before you answer, there's one detail worth noticing. Why does this always seem to happen when the days get shorter? Everyone knows about cuffing season. As the weather turns colder, more people start looking for relationships. What almost nobody talks about is that the same shift often affects friendships. Some people aren't just looking for romance, they are looking for closeness. And an old friend who already knows their history often feels like the easiest place to find it. If that person happens to be you, it's easy to mistake their return for something deeper. These friendships rarely feel forced when they come back. They feel familiar, and having someone to talk to again makes the season seem a little less empty. Before long, it feels as if nothing ever changed. The connection is usually genuine, but it's built around a need that won't always be there. Very few people plan to do this. They reconnect because it feels good in the moment, without stopping to think about whether they'll still make the same effort once life changes again. Loneliness has a way of pulling people toward whatever once made them feel understood, even if they never intended to stay for long. As winter passes, life begins to move again. A new relationship starts, weekends fill up, work demands more attention, or another group naturally becomes part of the routine. The conversations that once came so easily begin to fade. Replies become less frequent, plans become more vague, and before long, the friendship slips back into the silence it came from. Sometimes it simply settles back into the distance, almost unnoticed, with nothing that looks like an ending at all. When this happens once, it doesn't mean very much. Life is messy and even strong friendships go through quiet periods. When it becomes a recurring cycle though, most people still look in the wrong direction. Instead of noticing the pattern, they begin questioning themselves. They wonder whether they became less interesting, whether they should have reached out more, or whether this is simply what growing up looks like. What makes seasonal friendships so difficult to recognize is that they rarely leave you with bad memories. They leave you with good memories that are spaced so far apart they never have the chance to become a real friendship. Your mind naturally holds onto the conversations and the moments that reminded you why you cared about this person in the first place. The long stretches where almost nothing happened slowly fade into the background, making every reunion feel bigger than it really was. Each return feels like a fresh beginning instead of another turn of the same wheel. None of this means you should become suspicious of everyone who reconnects after a long silence. Some friendships survive months or even years apart because both people continue choosing each other whenever life allows it. The real difference isn't how warmly someone comes back, it's whether they keep showing up after the loneliness, the boredom, or the empty weekends have passed. Some friendships end with an argument. Others disappear so gradually that you never notice the moment they were over. They return just often enough to keep the hope alive, but never often enough to become part of your life again. By the time you finally recognize the cycle, you realize you weren't watching a friendship grow. You were watching the same season arrive again.